The movie opens at a department shop where everyone goes about their business. Someone is buying a beverage, while others are simply exploring the aisles. Suddenly, a bunch of masked men enters the store, fully armed with firearms. Soon after, the entire store is taken hostage, and the thieves begin to shut down operations and imprison everyone inside, including a police officer. During this incident, cops surround the building, resulting in a chaotic hostage scenario. Around the same moment, a dispatch alert is sent, and the LAPD deploys its iconic SWAT team. SWAT Captain Frank Tate receives a call with a hostage alert. The cop informs the captain that they are addressing the matter, to which he responds that the normal cops should take the rest of the day off right now. He steals the cop's microphone and offers to talk with the hostages. He informs the robbers that his department's policies and procedures require him to negotiate terms with the robbers before determining whether or not to move in. Denying this procedure would result in the SWAT team knocking them up and throwing them in jail. The process is quickly accepted by the leader, but Captain Tate takes advantage of a minor delay in response to justify aggressive action. This confuses and panics the clever robber, who tells his companions to prepare for offense. The SWAT team enters, and officers Blanco and Janner take command after Captain Tate instructs everyone to divide into 3 groups. Blanco takes a frozen steak from the counter as he and Janner crouch behind it to flank one of the bandits. Meanwhile, Sergeant Hunt sweeps in and apprehends a robber and a hostage. Hunt pretends to submit after the thieves demand it. During all of this, Tate intercepts the thieves' heads as he and his police officer captive stroll between aisles. Tate drops his pistol, confusing the thief, and rams into him and the hostage, hurling them to the stacked goods. Blanco throws the frozen steak at one of the robbers, who becomes stunned, and Janner fires a couple shots, killing the robber. Hunt gives up all of his weapons, saving his favorite BB gun, which he uses to hit and stagger the robber before picking up his rifle and killing him. Tate smashed the robber's head into a refrigerator and beat him up. All of the thieves are neutralized, and the hostages are rescued without any casualties. This scene is followed by the SWAT squad relaxing in their locker room when Tate notifies them that the chief of police wants to meet with everyone. Expecting to be lauded for rescuing all of the hostages, they all discuss how they would casually pretend to be pleasantly delighted and declare it was an honor to serve the people. However, when they return to the chief's office the next day, they discover that the chief is far from pleased with what occurred. The chief informs them that they did not follow proper protocol, and as a result, the major food chain where the event occurred has sued the LAPD for $250,000. He complains about how their irresponsibility resulted in so many injured captives, including the police officer, whose testicle ruptured as a result of Tate ramming him. Following a few comical exchanges with the irate chief, he informs them that they are all immediately suspended without pay and must attend federal retraining classes. The SWAT squad finds itself in a class being taught by a boring lecturer who tells them about a famous incident in which a person kidnapped kindergartners in 1998, and the problem was calmly resolved through discussion. However, each SWAT team member has a harsh solution, which causes tension for the hostage youngsters. The instructor is baffled. The SWAT team jokes about the possibility of dealing with the problem amicably, much to their instructor's chagrin. In another scene, 2 Russian mobsters, Demetrius and Ilya, kidnap a man named Kenny and question him about a parcel that he supposedly stole from them. When he doesn't respond, they threaten to butcher him. Kenny informs them that the Italians are also aware that the things are in the area where they are looking, and that he involved the Italians to guarantee he had leverage. The SWAT unit is on its way to the same warehouse, as requested by the LAPD, to improve their shooting skills and training. The Italians named Lampone and Storto arrive at the scene and clash with the Russians. The 2 groups disagree on where the item is and how Kenny played them both. But as they dispute, they hear the sirens of the SWAT squad approaching. They resolve to set aside their differences and huddle inside to call in SWAT if necessary, believing Kenny had tipped them off. But as soon as the SWAT unit enters, they instantly head upstairs. The criminals become perplexed and keep on alert. However, the officers are preoccupied with their training, and they are shooting additional scares and alerts. But as they continue to hide, a struggle breaks out between Storto and Ilya, with Stordo groping her. Tate notices the ruckus and dispatches Blanco to investigate, informing everyone inside that the property is booked until 2 p.m. However, when Blanco shows up, the crooks become nervous and shoot him to death. Blanco responds involuntarily by firing his gun into the air, alerting his colleagues. Tate decides they should go down and check what is going on. The crooks learn Blanco's gun contains blank bullets, implying that the cops were essentially unarmed. However, having already murdered Blanco, they are stranded and decide to collude, assassinate the cops, and clear their names. Tate and his squad arrive and confront them, only to discover that their opponents are aware that their guns contain fake ammunition. So, following Tate's abrupt direction, the cops withdraw upstairs, locking a vaulted door behind them. This traps the robbers, prompting Demetrius to call for backup. The Italians wait for Russian support, and concoct a strategy to intercept the cops by using a ladder to reach the upper floor from the outside. But Tate and his squad decide to retreat, anticipating that the crooks will try to flank them. They return to the entrance, use a gap to get to the truck, and retrieve their genuine weapons. Jannard and Hunt guard the door, as Tate rushes for their supplies, thinking their radio has been disabled. Jannard heads upstairs to check what the Russians are up to, while Hunt remains vigilant. Inside the truck, Tate discovers a bound Kenny, but a fight breaks out with one of the crooks. Tate manages to dispatch him and frees Kenny, mistaking him for a prisoner. As the Russians approach, he rushes back to the vaulted door with Kenny. Jannard is pinned down by the head of the Russian backup, but Tate steps in to save her and kills the Russian. As this occurs, the Russians realize their backup has been neutralized, prompting the Italians to call in their own. During the chaos, Kenny flees, but Tate apprehends him inside the restroom with a case. Tate examines the contents and understands the enormity of the situation. He asks Kenny what the plan is, and Kenny guides them to an underground tunnel that exits the warehouse. They move in, and Tate decides to leave for a while to see whether they are being followed. The Italian backup realizes this, and their commander orders 2 teams to enter the tunnel from either end. They intercept Tate and his crew and bring them out from both ends. Tate is detained by the Russians, and when questioned about the case, he says he knows where it is but wants them to release his colleagues. On the other hand, the Italians consider seizing Hunt and Jannard. Lampone, enraged by Kenny, finally kills him and requests that Hunt transport Stordo to the case while he holds Jannard prisoner. He deploys his backup team to eliminate all Russians. As the Italian backup comes, Tate offers assistance to the Russians and drives away in their vehicle, initiating a pursuit. Hunt kills Stordo and exits the tunnel. Then he sneaks up on Lampone, freeing Jannard. Tate then rams in with the truck, sparking another firefight. Hunt discovers that his personal grenade launcher is hidden in the vehicle and uses it to eliminate the Italian backup. He fires and destroys the entire van, engulfing it in flames. After the firefight, Demetrius sneaks up on the cops from behind, kidnaps them, and steals the case. He then requests that the officers and Lampone kneel and commands Ilya to kill them. Ilya answers positively, accepting the honor. Demetrius steps outside to smoke a cigarette, trusting Ilya to take care of everyone, but he doesn't hear any gunshots. He returns and discovers that Ilya has been knocked unconscious while the head of the Italian backup is still alive. He and Lampone hold the officers, Ilya, and Demetrius captive. In this new twist, Tate requests one final favor before he and his team are slaughtered. He asks that they be permitted to use earplugs. Lampone grants the request, citing its ridiculousness. However, as soon as Tate and his team put on the earplugs, he drops a secret flash bomb, disorienting everyone in the room. The Italian flees in terror, and Lampone is quickly subdued by the other 2 cops. Tate chases with a rifle, but both huge guys have run out of ammunition. So a fistfight ensues, which Tate eventually wins. He returns and, along with his team, arrests everyone else. Then they appear in the chief's office again. This time, however, the chief praises them for their efforts and gallantry, recognizing Blanco's sacrifice and offering a parade in their honor. However, he has one final concern. The SWAT team allegedly messed up a stream in the process. Kenny then enters the room, stating that he and Lampone were undercover operatives on a sting operation to recover the briefcase from the Russian and Italian mobs. Confused, the SWAT team accepts the twist and returns to regular duties. The contents of the briefcase will always be a mystery. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.